Good gaming, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Snyder, and today we're gonna watch some Noob play cEDH. In today's game, as usual, I always mess up my intro. Um, Thank you everyone for being here. Little e-begging, please like and subscribe, and of course, that's it. Like and subscribe, comment, so that we get a bigger impression and then bigger views. Nice things. Last week is the first video that breached the 1K mark. Thank you everyone for being here with me. Really appreciated. This video is, of course, sponsored by myself at cEDH Canada. We are gonna be in Toronto next week for the face-to-face event, so we will have not a lot of t-shirts. We've got 3 t-shirts for each other, then we've got 7 then that may be available to be sold. I am so stoked to be able to see a new group of people. I'm happy to be able to see another creator. Mental Misplay is going to be there, hoping that we could have a chat. Of course, February 27th, we have the Rocky Rumble. We got the Rocky Rumble in Calgary, which is they're up to 30 players if I remember correctly. Real nice guys. Please, if you're in Alberta, don't hesitate to go in and play at the Rocky Mountain Rumble. Also on the same date, we've got the sequencing, the great sequencing at Sequence Gaming in Brockville. I will be on site in Brockville. Sadly, I cannot go to Alberta to be at that event. However, I'll be in Brockville. In today's game, we've got in turn order RogSi. We've got Kinnan, Zyrda, and you don't see it yet, or you may see it because I'm always casting before editing. So now I see Rocco on the board. So RogSi, Grixis deck, wants to go as fast as possible, get ritual and stuff like that, use Rogue to sacrifice him to get some mana. Of course, Breach and Torgal deck. Right after we've got Kinnan. This Kinnan was flipping some big creature. There's kind of a few new one in Lost Avatar that are kind of funny. Of course, we've got Washington, Wan Chi Tong, but we call it Washington here. That was in Lorwyn Eclipsed. Right after we've got Zyrda. Zyrda is a... I try to go get Grim or Basalt as quickly as possible, and then I do some crazy shenanigans because Zyrda reduced the cast, the activation of a spell, the activation of an ability by 2. So she can, well, they can tap Grim for 4, untap for 2, tap for 4, untap for 2. Then you could do some shenanigans with infinite mana, try to get other artifacts that make you win. And Rocco, this is a podless Rocco. So I have, I count on Kikijiki, of course, and Jolly Balloon Man with the other creatures that work with them to go infinite. But I don't use Birding Pod because I don't want to use a graveyard. It's a weird brew, but it works. You just have to think about which line you need to go for. If you draw one of the combo piece, then you use a commander for the second combo piece, and then you win. Pre-games are called, mulligans are done. So this was in UniversduFort in Chambly. Strong start for the RogSi player. Ragavan, Badland into Ragavan. Kinnan, Woody Footy into something else. I believe he's gonna shortcut Manifold Key. Yes, l'UniversduFort, which is in Chambly. This is a lower stake event, so we see weird build, but this is kind of a regular regular pod that you see in some of the events in Montreal. We don't have blue farms, but we've got these Kinnan, Zyrda, and RogSi. Temple Garden for Rocco into Fingernails. Zyrda played nothing on their turn. Ragavan eating a Kinnan. And I was like, please cut your poison. Yeah, that's one of the weird ones. I was saying, it's the last avatar. It's a flash. It's like a fairy mastermind, but it's a 5/5. One for Mana Vault, Treasure and Mana Vault for a Ristic City. Passes with the colorless. Zyrda politicking around, trying to say, are we gonna be responsible? So some politicking around saying, why are you showing cards when we like not even turn 2? And because Zyrda showed me, if I remember correctly, it was the Ethersworn Canonist or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And I said, and RogSi was saying, why? We're so early in the game. And sure, the thing is, sometimes showing information can actually help. Against a Kinnan, Zyrda and Rocco need to back each other. Kinnan drops a Grim Monolith, shows a weird way to do One Ring. So you can use Grim Monolith, tap Grim Monolith for 4, use 1 to tap Manifold. Well, it's 3, so tap for 3, use 1 with the Manifold key to untap the Grim for 3 more. Now he got 5. Then he can cast One Ring, and he can even pay for the Ristic Study. So at this point, turn 2 Esper, turn 2 Ristic, turn 2 One Ring with a Manifold key. That is that's harsh. Fulmer Revolt for Zyrda. 1 and 2. Ethersworn Canonist. Cannot pay for the Ristic. However, Ethersworn Canonist is kind of good. Well, super good. And now I draw, and I drew something that is so wonky that I will have to play it. Cavern of Soul, naming Druid for Dranit, pays for Ristic with the Fingernails. So right now I'm stopping everyone for playing their Breach line or playing from Exile. It's kind of good, especially that Kinnan and Zyrda are not on the board. Ragavan swinging at the Zyrda player. Gets a land. This is not what we want to see. Drops a Talisman of Indulgence. Does he have anything else that he can play since it's... Ethersworn is one non-artifact. And that's an artifact. And Zyrda... oh, yeah. I understand why it's so good in Zyrda, because Zyrda plays non-stop artifact. Passes to the Kinnan player. Starts by drawing 2 cards. Drops a Saga of Turn. Pays 1 to use the key to untap the Grim Monolith. Tries to cast Clever Imposter. Sadly, he said exactly that he wanted to copy Ristic. Ristic Trigger. Pyroblast the Clever. Pays 2 for a Tatarutaru. Cannot pay for the Ristic. Asking for card in hand. Everybody has 6 except me. Points at me, so of course I'm gonna draw a card. There's no reason not to. Giving a treasure to Zyrda can be problematic, but with Granite on board, it's not an issue. I was thinking hard, so I ended up dropping Boseiju. Cast Rocco for 1. Cannot pay for Ristic. Ristic draws. He will give a treasure to Tatarutaru. Fetch for 1. Dropping Wirewood Symbiote. Swings the Kinnan. Get a Chrome Mox. I think it's Mox Opal. Sorry. Casting Gamble. Gamble ending. Calling the Weak. Pretty sure that's not what it went for. Passes the turn. Not casting. Yeah, because Chrome Moxie needs to discard a card, which maybe it doesn't want to do. Ooh, activating One Ring. Drop the OBM. Orcish is bad news for pretty much everyone but Kinnan. Of course, Wirewood getting the Stray Bullet. Tripping on the stack. Long politing around, talking about where the OBM ping will be. 2 in face, 1 on fingernails. I put a green in my pool. Pays 1 colorless to untap the green monolith with a manifold key. Drops a consecrated sphinx. You don't see it, but I know about what he said, what he dropped. So we've got Ristic. In front of Ristic, we've got consecrated sphinx. And with that consecrated sphinx, he triggers OBM like a madman. So this was the hellhole I was in yesterday. So passes to Zyrda. Of course, draws card. Con Sphinx draws 2. OBM pings the Kinnan player. So at this point, Zyrda and I were trying to figure out how to deal with the consecrated sphinx and the OBM, because they were actually twisting our testicles. We were really stuck in there. On his moon, Silver Key did not pay for the Ristic, and of course, draw from Ristic, draw 2 from Consecrated Sphinx, pings his face again. On draw step, I draw and Con Sphinx will draw 2. Of course, double ping on the Kinnan player. A lot of politicking around to know what to do with the Orcish. I could kill the Orcish before the Orcish kills everything, but at the same time I'm like, who knows? LED, Ristic, I pay for it. Mystical Tutor on end of turn. A lot of chatting led to him going to get Windfall, because with Windfall, he actually has Orcish Bowmaster. Windfall into someone that's been drawing with Consecrated Sphinx. I think he's up to 15 cards. And at this point, it's like Windfall for 15. The other opponents are gonna draw 15 each. 45 Bowmaster trigger. This is absolutely disgusting. Draw 1, Con Sphinx, draw 2. Goes and attempt to cast Windfall. Asking the Kinnan player, if you got a counterspell, might be a good idea to do it now. Priority being passed around, Windfall resolving. Discard hand, draw 15. So on the stack, so first, Windfall resolve, everybody draws 15. After that, the question was, how many Orcish Bowmaster trigger and how many Consecrated Sphinx trigger? Hapsnap says, since RogSi is the active player, all of his triggers goes on the stack first. After that, non-active player in rotation. So Consecrated Sphinx, Kinnan gets 45 Consecrated Sphinx trigger. So at that point, I was Alt F6, couldn't do anything. I don't know what happened, because I took a bathroom break after saying everything and putting this in a pure chaos. I said, you know what you need to do? I'm getting out. Oh yeah, I forgot. As soon as the trigger for the OBM gets on the stack, he needs to declare the target. And that's when it's gonna be well, it's not problematic, because he decides where he put the target on. So the first 20-second trigger, first 22 triggers are gonna be on 22 on Kinnan, 2 on Ethersworn Canonist, 21 into Kinnan's face, into Zyrda's face, if I remember correctly. Now, depending on what he has in hand, so my crazy suggestion is you can draw up to 20 cards. Let's say you're goddamn lucky. You draw Simon's Elvish Spirit Guide, and right after you draw a Veil of Summer. And surprisingly, you become X-proof, and then all the 22 triggers for the Orcish are missing. So at that point, this is where I actually just get up and go for a bathroom break. I'm like, so let's see if he got lucky. So hits me for, Actually, it's me for 21, not the Zyrda. And now he has like a 55, something like a 55 Orcish Bowmaster. Fetches with Polluted Delta. In response, I drop Archivist Vugma just so that I can draw a card. Ristic trigger, I cannot pay. I'm not gonna crack LED to pay for the Ristic. Cast Soul Ring into Talisman. Zyrda as one blocker. Ooh, Snap's the only blocker he has. Going to combat. Swing with Ragavan and the 50-50. 57 Orcish Bowmaster. Pays 2. On blocker, flashes in an Archivist Vugma to just go straight in the just to go and trip the Orcish army. Blocks the 57, makes a treasure, and exile a Walking Ballista. Thank God he doesn't have any infinite mana. Oh God, that would have been bad. Also, it's one of Zyrda's win con, so it's actually super good that it got exiled. So as insane as this turn was, killing one person, and we barely dodged having another death by flashing in a blocker. Let's go Zyrda. Jiska's Will. Dranit still on board, so he cannot use his commander. Moon Silver Key being on the board is absolutely a problem. So the thing is, it's a problem because, of course, Moon Silver Key will go get the Grim or the Basalt Monolith. So if he has any way to get rid of the Dranit, we're doomed. Okay, Swords to Plowshare on Dranit Magistrate. And then I'm like, we need to do something. And I looked at RogSi and I tell him, we need to do something. If you don't stop him, he wins. So at this point, it's really about RogSi being able to stop Zyrda from winning. And the issue is, if he stops Zyrda, it gives me the game right after, because he's gonna put all of his juice on stopping Zyrda. Pact of Negation on the Sword to Plowshare. That's one down. To exile the Dranit Magistrate. And it's like, hey, I could get a basic land tapped. Pays for Ristic with the one of his 16 from J-Will. So of course RogSi has nothing. I'll go get a basic land type. Basic land. Yes, I run 3 of them. I run 1 for each color just for... Well, there's that. Is it Assassin's Trophy? Or something else? Gamble. That could be a problem. So, on Ristic... So, okay. So, quick note here. He paid Gamble. And then, Ristic trigger, he asked, do you pay Ristic? And then, the Zyrda player answered, I'm not paying. So... And then he said, okay, so if you're not playing, I'm gonna play Vampiric Tutor. However, so if this trigger goes on the stack, he needs to hold Prio and then say, I'm gonna cast Vampiric Tutor to get something and put it on top of my library. If you ask if the trigger is on the stack, and then you ask, are you gonna pay? And the other person says no, and then you decide to do something, then that answer may change. So like he did is he did gamble, asked, do you pay for Ristic? Said no. Okay, if you say no, I'm repeating myself. Goes for Vampiric Tutor, and you will see that he will just say, Well, now that you Vampiric Tutor and that changed, I will pay for that Ristic. So you search for his library, I will draw a card. Bowmaster trigger. Oh yeah, important little side note. So he went and did a gamble. And he's been looking for Grand Abolisher. And when he's looking into it, it says I don't have Grand Abolisher in my deck. So at some point he did. I'll just get. You'll see he will get Voice of Victory, and at the end of the game he counts his deck, and he has 98 cards, which is technically an illegal deck. So IPG is if you've got an illegal deck or a deck tech issue, you will get your deck adjusted to whatever your list is. If the card you are missing, in his position, it was missing a Grand Abolisher. If you cannot get the exact card that you were missing, you will have to add a basic land. So it's either if you got 98 cards, you're missing a Grand Abolisher, please re-add a Grand Abolisher and carry on. Some would say you do your search, it's not in there. Now we're gonna adjust your deck so that it's proper for next round. And if you don't find a Grand Abolisher, we're gonna give you a basic land. There's no disqualification or game loss or match loss if there is no malicious intent. Voice of Victory being dropped. At this point, even if he Vampiric Tutor is now revealing that he put a MBT on top of his library, will be able to counter the Voice of Victory. Then again, that was his Hail Mary. Drops a Moxopole, cracks his Moonsilver Key, goes and drop a Grim Monolito. Still has 14 mana. So on the cast of Grim Monolith, the Moxopole is off. Sack a treasure and offer the Grim Monolith. Underworld Breach. Man, we were cooked. Passes on Breach. Tries to recast Grim Monolith. Ristic. So I'm telling him, you need to exile 3 cards before we do anything else. Passes on Grim. Floats 3 colorless plus and take 1 and cast Zyrda. Ristic trigger. He was ballsy because he had a lot of colorless mana, and he could just go and carry on. It's not just up. So he makes infinite colorless, drops a Planar Bridge. So Planar Bridge means that he pays 6 and he can go get whatever he wants in his library. This is the not the Zyrda win con, but it is. Man, this is. We're fucked. Planar Bridge drops the Staff of Domination. With Staff of Domination, he can gain life, draw his deck. So the argument was there's Orcish Bowmaster on board, and he said, sure, if Orcish is on board, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the staff to gain 1,000 life. Then after that, I'm gonna draw my library. You're gonna deal 97 damage from Orcish. And then the question is, what does he use to kill us? Stray Bullet, killing the Archivist of Ogma. So he shows a assembly worker, I believe. I'll have to figure out which one it is. And with that, he can make infinite ace creature. Then he can swing us, and he can actually kill us. Congratulations to the Zyrda player. This was a super fun game, going back and forth. We were worried about the Kinnan at some point, but that OBM, thank God for X-Wing Squelcher, because now whenever somebody puts an OBM on board, he'll have to ping, whenever he wants to ping something on my board, he'll have to ward 2 live, and that's gonna be wonderful. Just remember, next weekend we are gonna be in Toronto at a face-to-face event. On February 21st, we have 2 tournaments, one in Alberta, one in a Brockville. Of course, if you learned anything, please leave a comment below, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next game.